Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Golem F. Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio, and we have ourselves a loaded show tonight. We got TNA Impact, we got SmackDown Live. We also will be previewing TNA Lockdown that's going down tomorrow, and more importantly, we will have a recap of today's amazing Big Three final that went down from the Queen Cities in Charlotte, North Carolina. I will probably say maybe the best, one of the greatest championship games I've ever seen. What an ending to be talked about. We'll cover that in just a little while. All right, let's start out with TNA Wrestling. You guys know, unless there's a valuable storyline or something that we can bring up, we'll go into it. But we did start it off with the first match of the evening. It was Rich Swann going one-on-one with Mr. Elegance. Rich Swann winning the match in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. The so-called undefeated streak of Mr. Elegance has been broken. He finally suffers his first loss. And look, it was a pointless storyline. I don't know. They made Rich Swann deserves the win. He needs the momentum to keep the storyline going. It kind of felt like it, I get it, why they did it. There's really not much to talk about it. Maybe a star and a half is my rating for it. It kind of felt more like a comedy fight than anything else. And Rich Swann's better than that. Rich Swann deserves better than that. So, but at least now we can say Elegance has been defeated. He's lost his perfect record. And we can move on and, Swann can get something better out of this. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. I talked about this in our messenger chat. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, say what you want about Mr. Elegance, but he's putting it together in the ring and living the gimmick. I'm not surprised that Swann got the win here. I mean, he is a former TNA heavyweight champion in his own right, and I thought if anybody could knock off Mr. Elegance for this, it would be him. It was a rather basic match, and there was no reason for Mr. Elegance to beat a former world champion in a straight-up match. The point of someone like Elegance, or the entire brand for that matter, is that they're all talk and often in over their head. That was the case here. Though having BDE go over Mr. Elegance could have been a lot of fun as well. But it is what it is. So I'll give it about 2.5 stars for the effort. So with that being said, MF, speaking of the Elegance brand, as we all know, last week, M by Elegance advanced to the finals of the TNA TV, the Knockouts TV title tournament. She needs a dance partner for that inaugural championship. Let's determine that right now.
All right, it's either going to be Jada Stone or it's going to be Heather by Elegance. We did have the fear of maybe the Elegance brand having their own, that Heather and M in the finals together. It's not going to happen. Jada Stone is going to the final. She advances. 7 minutes, 44 seconds is the time of the fall. Anthony Florio, we had that fear of the Elegance brand being in the final for the title. It is not going to happen. Jada saves us from that total disaster. She wins it in 7:44.
Heather got further in the tournament than I initially thought, and it wound up being a pretty entertaining and solid match. I was thinking they may have gone with the all Elegance final, but Jada Stone is very clearly getting a push of some sort around TNA, and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for the title, but at least she's making a run in the tournament here. This is another 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star bout, and I believe it'll be this coming Thursday night on Impact. Jada Stone versus M by Elegance, and the winner becomes the inaugural Knockouts television champion, and the title will be defended exclusively on TNA Impact going forward. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So 2.5, 2 3/4. MF, Jada Stone in the final versus M by Elegance Thursday night. Who's gonna get it?
Yeah. 2.5 stars, definitely a very good matchup. I personally want to see Jada win it all. Just personally, I think she has the look to win the title, but something tells me that
gonna get it.
The Elegance brand is gonna stick their nose where it doesn't belong, and I think I believe M is gonna win it all. I think because of the fact that the Elegance brand is gonna want M to win it all, I think M is gonna win this title, even though I want Jada to win it. But I kind of feel like M is gonna win and become the inaugural champion because of the numbers game more than anything else. All right.
Absolutely.
So next up we had was the big one. So it was Fabian Eichner going one-on-one with Brian Myers. This was for the power play, the man advantage in the Lethal Lockdown matchup. The system gets the power play. Brian Myers winning the match, 11 minutes and 55 seconds, 3.5 stars. And up to this point, the fight of the night. This was an excellent matchup. This was definitely a back and forth, great matchup. Yes, the ending was left to be desired, a low blow, but it was the system. You kind of had a feeling they were going to get the leg up on it, and they do. The system winning the match, that is kind of, in the past, we've always had the heels getting the power play. Even though in the last few years, especially in War Games, actually the babyface team has been getting the power play in one of the War Games matches. So for the heels to get the advantage, it's kind of prototypical TNA, or in professional wrestling, the heels have always had at least the advantage in these type of matches. So this was no big surprise. If you would have told me who the two members were, I probably would have said Brian Myers was going to win it. Once you told me who they were going to be, I was going to say Myers wins it. 3.5 stars. Anthony, up to this point, the fight of the night.
Absolutely. And we're going back to the old school formula here. For many years, we've always known, whenever we've had these kind of matches, we've always seen the heel team go over here, and I'm not at all surprised by this. This was a case of one of the heels has to get the advantage for the match, and these two fit as well as anything else. Brian Myers can do a good job with anyone, and they had a nice match here. It was a perfectly acceptable bout, even with the second low blow being a bit of an overkill. But there's still no denying that it was a very good match. 3.25 to 3.5 stars, and system has the advantage. Wouldn't surprise me if the face team ends up going over, and we'll get into that at the end of the show. So, because that's our main event. Our lockdown preview is our main event. So we'll get into that. So, 3.25, 3.5. Not much more. MF. We got a battle of former partners in Order 4 coming up here.
Yeah, we got the international champion Jason Hotch going up against John Skyler. Non-title fight. Jason Hotch winning the match in 3 minutes and 7 seconds via disqualification. I don't feel like talking about this one. I kind of feel like this is kind of a throwaway more than anything else. Yeah, it's a cutout.
It was more of an angle.
This one is not, though. Yeah. So this one is not, though. Alicia Edwards goes one-on-one with Harley Hudson. Basically, Harley's career, her TNA career, is on the line. If she wins the match, she practically stays on. If she loses, you can pretty much say her TNA career is over. Well, Harley wins it. 6 minutes, 28 seconds. She beats Alicia Edwards. Anthony, it is yours.
2.5 stars. They seem to be trying something with Harley Hudson, and as has been the case around TNA quite a bit lately, that is a good idea due to all of the roster turnover. The match wasn't much to see, but Harley Hudson is easy enough to like based on her recent vignettes, and see what they have with her, which might result in a match against maybe Daria Ray down the line, because Daria Ray was not happy about this at all. She sat in on commentary. She did commentary with Ray Walt and Hannafin, and she was not happy with how with this. It was obvious that, I mean, she was the one who put this whole thing together, and well, like it or not, Daria, Harley Hudson still has a job, and maybe we will see those two battle it out down the line. We'll see. But for right now, 2.5 stars. MF, what says you?
No, I agree. 2.5 stars. I thought they did a fine job with the match. Like I said, big win for Harley Hudson, and I'm growing. She's growing on me. She's definitely been growing on me for the last little bit, because I'm not the biggest Harley fan, but she's won me over a little bit. Where her eagerness, her spunk, her attitude, her fighting spirit, that's something that, you can get behind, you can rally around. And to see the malcontent that Daria Ray, it looks like Daria Ray just has no faith in her, and she wants her gone in the worst possible way. And now she's gonna have to deal with it. She has to deal with her. So with Harley winning the way she won, Santino is gonna make sure that Harley is still in TNA. She cannot be fired for any reason now because of this win. If she lost, you can definitely make an argument that, all right, she could get let go. Now that she won, there's no way that she can get fired at this point. She is stuck in TNA. For the fans' sake, for our sake, Harley stays alive. So yeah, big win for her. It leads us into the main event of the evening, as it was the Hardys, Moose, and Elijah. They went up against the Nemeth, AJ Francis, and Frankie Kazarian, and the Babyface Squad wins it all in 14 minutes and 17 seconds. To me, the fight of the night, an incredible match. The storylines were really strong all the way around, and I gotta say, man, this was really good. I liked how it played out. This was a good way to close the show. Very strong main event. A 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. Anthony, the babyface teams, wins it all at 14-17.
3.5 to 3.75 of a star. Fight of the night, no question about it. It's set up because with all of this here, this was the rare 3 pay-per-view matches at once match, and it worked fine. AJ Francis, the best choice to take the loss here. It didn't exactly do a lot to build up the 3 matches, but those were already set up, and I'll take something different like this over video packages. And very good match here. All 8 men did their, everybody played their parts well. And Hardys versus the Nemeths for the World Tag Team Championship. That's the main event. You also have Moose versus Frankie Kazarian in an Escape the Cage match. And we have what's being known as the final encore with Elijah and AJ Francis. So 3 matches in one. You got a preview of those 3 matches in this match alone. So very good main event. 3.5, 3.75. I'm going to go ahead and take the overall review for a spin here. I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10. They were really just covering all of the bases here, and that's a good way to go for the last Impact before the pay-per-view. The action was acceptable, though most people are only so interested in Lockdown, but TNA is doing what they can with the options that they have. It might not be the most thrilling stuff, but I'm hopeful that Lockdown is going to be better because they do need some kind of a spark down the line. So this was definitely right around that 7 to 7.5 threshold. So not much more. MF 7.5 is what I say. What says you?
Yeah, seven out of 10 is for me too. I thought they did a solid job with it. Really not much more to add. We basically now go right into SmackDown Live, and here we go. So this is the moment we've been waiting for. Obviously, we'll just bypass the promo stuff, even though it was wicked strong. We had Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes coming out asking for Randy Orton. Nick Aldis has to come out to stop. Then they get into it, and before it gets crazy, Nick Aldis finally puts his foot down, says, "All right, I'm done with it. If either one of you lays contact on either other, it's done. Neither one of you, whoever perpetrates this and starts it, neither one of you gets a shot at the WWE Championship. You lose your opportunity at the gold." Well, that does it. That ends that. So basically, if Cody strikes Orton, Cody loses the opportunity. If Randy does it, then he loses the opportunity. And with how everything's been playing out, with guys wanting a shot at the WWE Championship, like right now, it is a free for all. Who's going to be the next challenger for the title? Because I remember we got Kevin Owens versus CM Punk at the end, but oh man, so that will cool the tempers down briefly until the Sunday night's main event goes down. That's coming down very soon. So as a matter of fact, it's about a week from now. So here we go. First fight of the night for the WWE Tag Team titles. The MFTs, the Tongans, putting the titles on the line against the former champions, Damian Priest and R-Truth. Winners of the bout in 11 minutes and 35 seconds. And still the WWE Tag Team Champions, Tama Tonga, Talia Tonga. The MFTs keeps the gold. Yeah, no big surprise here. Good match, solid fight. And, you kind of felt like Damian Priest was maybe thinking of a heel turn. He doesn't turn. That's interesting. I thought that he would have pulled the trigger. Maybe down the line he does, because I think Damian's turning. You could see it. It's going to happen at some point. He's going to turn. So we'll see when it happens, but I thought it was going to happen here, and it didn't. So, but still, 3-star bout, solid fight. Anthony Floyo, like you would like to say, the champions remain the champions.
What was that time again? 10 or so? 10, 11?
11:35.
Okay, 11:35. That's about 3.25 for me. Second best fight of the night. I'm going to be honest with you. And not only that, I'll even go as far as to call it the sleeper fight of the night. I mean, you think these 4 guys, albeit a championship match, you're thinking, well, because of the talent in there, that this is not going to be overly exciting. But boy, howdy, MF. I got to be honest. This was a pretty physical encounter with some good moments. They did not burn the house down, but they made the match feel hard fought. All 4 men put forth a good effort and had the crowd chanting and cheering. No longer having to be muscle for Solo Sikoa has given Tama and Tala a little freedom, but adding Papa Haku is the icing on the cake. Anyone familiar with him knows he is considered one of the most legit tough guys to ever work in WWE, so his presence adds something to the presentation. And having Haku back on television is great. He adds some legitimacy to the Tongans. R-Truth, still dressing like John Cena, keeping those jorts alive even though he's retired. And you remember the other night on Wednesday night we talked about Rey Mysterio being an ageless wonder. What about R-Truth? He's 50. He's
Yeah,
older than Rey Mysterio. He's 54.
he is,
He's 54 years
and
old,
he's
and
still
he's still doing
and he's still
slingshot cross
going.
bodies out of the ring.
Yeah,
He seems
he's
to
still
age
going.
slower than most humans. Unreal. So 3.25. MF. What we? I think you were trying to say something on that.
Nope, no, I was just trying to reiterate what you were talking about the age for R-Truth, and
R-Truth,
yeah, I
54.
mean they always say sometimes things age like fine wine, and I think we can
Oh
say
yeah.
like people like Rey Mysterio, R-Truth, even though they're up there in age, but the purity and the greatness is still like. And when you look at Truth, you're thinking there's no way he's 54 years old. There's no way he is. He doesn't look
No.
it. But yeah,
No.
believe it or not, he is. So, yep. So, all right, next up, Anthony, you're gonna get this one. It was Tiffany Stratton going one-on-one with Lash Legend. Lash Legend wins the match in 7 minutes and 20 seconds. It is yours, brother.
Yeah. I tell you what. I mean, Legend barely managed to catch Tiffany during the suicide dive, and the fact that she didn't drop her was a sign of her strength. That's a tough spot, and Tiffy fell a little earlier than she expected, but Lash kept her up. And I gotta tell you what. I mean, there was some decent physicality in this bout, but it only scratched the surface of what these two can do together. Honestly, I can only give this about 2.5 stars, but Naya and Lash beating her down, and then enter the women's champion Chelsea Green for the save, and there was a backstage segment, and it looks like that Paige could be aligning with Tiffany and Chelsea Green, maybe against Fatal Influence down the line.
Yeah.
Gonna have to keep an eye on that development.
Well,
But
because we
best I
don't
can do
know
here is
what.
2.5.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. You're absolutely right with it. And the thing is, has WWE abandoned the Nikki Bella Paige storyline? Because that's the news that I was thinking about after that happened. Is, well, what does that mean? So could they run it back, or are they going in a different direction? I mean, if they go in a different direction and have Paige aligned with Chelsea Green and Tiffany would be great, but at some point Tiffany is gonna turn. She may betray Chelsea because of all of the losing right now, and you could notice she's getting a little frustrated. Losing these matches. She lost the U.S. title. Now you see Chelsea, trying to get back at 100%. And as a matter of fact, Anthony, earlier today, a photo leaked out of Chelsea got a mask. She got an embroidered mask. So she may be back in the ring and maybe be able to defend that title well within the 30 days
Within 30 days.
that Nick Aldis,
Within that 30-day threshold.
Within that 30-day threshold that would allow her to keep the WWE Women's title, because Nick gave her 30 days to, get fitted with the mask, get medically cleared, and if you do, you will be able to fight for the title. And the fans has been counting the days since that 30-day deadline lit up, and she's already been 7 days in. This is like 8 days now into that 30-day window, and now she got a mask. So could she be back next week? If she does, that would be about halfway through. She'd be good to go. So we'll see. But she's within the 30-day range if she can get there. So people's been counting it. So yeah, solid match. Main event, the big one for the WWE title, CM Punk versus Kevin Owens, winner of the bout in 18 minutes and 50 seconds, and still the WWE champion, CM Punk, Sami Zayn. Oh man, he had to ruin this because this was getting really good until Sammy got involved and he ruined the main event. This is only 3.5 stars because this was going into a 4 level and Sammy had to screw it. So there was a ref bump. Sammy came out, telling Owens, use the belt, use the belt. Owens was like, nah, man, I don't want to do it. I want to win it the right way, the honorable way. I want to win it on my own. Sammy ducks Owens with the belt, and then Punk gets the GTS. 1, 2, 3. You could feel the deflation coming out of that arena in Toronto. They wanted a new champion. I even though I knew this was going to be the outcome, we knew Sammy was probably going to get involved, and at some point it was going to be him. And then Sammy basically goes into business on his own, knocks out CM Punk, knocks out Kevin Owens with the WWE Championship, and yelling, "This is justice. This is my title. I should be the champion. Neither one of you deserves this title. I deserve it. I should be getting the glory." Sami Zayn went full out heel, and the crowd in Toronto was booing Sammy at the end of the night. And Sammy is loved in Canada, and for Canada to turn on Sammy, that is a huge moment in his heel development, his character development as a heel. Because when your own country turns on you and boos you out of the building, you have done something right. So this is 3.5 stars. Anthony, go.
I was gonna give it 4.5, but I'm gonna bump it down to 4. It does not feel like an exaggeration to say this was the most anticipated match on SmackDown in quite some time, and both guys clearly came into this looking to make it memorable. They made their animosity believable, and both men brought a lot of energy into the ring. This was a strong performance from two men who have never had a singles match together in any promotion. They may not like each other, but their styles complemented each other perfectly. A dirty finish is never the ideal outcome, but the way this was done protected KO and helped drive the story forward. So it was one time when it was the right call. This also immediately sets up a feud between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which we all knew was coming eventually. Kevin Owens might be a natural heel, but it's so hard to dislike the guy. He's so good at what he does that he makes you want to cheer for him no matter what. The table spot looked great. Kevin Owens landed perfectly square so that the table basically exploded beneath him. And using a sharpshooter in Canada is the easiest way to get a pop. And amazing match. I was initially going to give this 4.25 to 4.5, but Sammy ruined it. You're right. But it bumps it down to 4, maybe 4.25 for me. I mean, I can't. I mean, yes, the finish is not ideal, but it makes sense in the context of the story. Sammy has officially, the heel turn is now officially complete for Sammy, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out going forward, and what's next for these guys. I don't know. I read a dirt sheet yesterday that Punk and Owens is going to be one and done. That's what I heard, but after what we saw last night, I don't buy that. I don't think that's going to be the case. I feel like KO will get a rematch down the line. I even saw one thing earlier today saying that could this possibly lead to a triple threat? Could we get Punk versus Owens versus Sammy possibly at Sunday night's main event. I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye on that development. But no denying this was the fight of the night. I'm still going to give this 4, teetering on 4.25. The match was too good for me. So there's not really much to say on that. So I'm going to go ahead and start the overall thoughts here. If I had to put a grade on this, it would be that of a B-. I felt it was a B- show. Last night's SmackDown had peaks and valleys, so depending on what you personally like, this might have been a really good or really bad episode. Most of the action was solid, and it felt like everyone who performed put in a good effort, but the show definitely fell short in a few spots. Not having Blake Monroe actually have her debut match was extremely disappointing after 4+ months of backstage attacks and video packages. However, the main event was definitely the biggest highlight. CM Punk and Kevin Owens did a great job, and the story being set up with them and Sami Zayn has put some energy into the undisputed WWE Championship picture. One great match, one solid match, and one okay match. A couple of other things, but I got to say it's right around that same threshold for TNA. 7.5 for me. Letter grade of B-. So B- show for me in Toronto. So give me 7.5. MF, your thoughts, and then we'll talk about today's very exciting Big 3 championship.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 again. I think they did a really good job. Could have been better in certain elements, but I think that eventually there will be something down the line. Obviously, Yujiro Takahashi, the Ticking Time Bomb, he's debuted in WWE. That's a major get. And he doesn't even go through NXT. He's teaming with Nakamura. That is a game changer. That is a shot in the arm to the tag team division for them. Not only that, but now you also have a strong, you're going to have Randy versus Cody. They elevated that storyline. Little Yachty going one-on-one with Corbin at Sunday night's main event. He needs to survive 5 minutes. If he survives 5 minutes, then Trick Williams is guaranteed a United States Championship fight down the line. So you got that going on. So, I mean, there's going to be some stuff that will definitely be talked about. We'll see how it plays out. But, yeah, this was unbelievable. And now it leads us to the Big 3 final. This was the game of, this was it. The final, the title on the line. Who is walking away with the trophy in the Queen Cities in Charlotte? The Spectrum Center is the place to be. And here we go. It was the Dallas Power. 8-2 on the season versus the Boston Ball Hogs, who is 7-3 overall. At half, it was the Boston Ball Hogs 26-24 with the first half lead. Then they were going back at it, going into it. There was a moment where Dallas was 4 points away, was 3 points away. They were 47-43, and they were on the verge of winning the title. And then Jeremy Pargo hits a 4-point shot to tie the game, gets it into a 47-47 tie. Then Greg Monroe getting a bucket and a foul, getting it to 49 points, 49-47. All he needed to do was hit a free throw. He missed the free throw, rebounded by the Boston Ball Hogs, gets it to the MVP of the league, Jeremy Pargo. Pargo goes for 4, drains it. Boston wins the championship. Your final score of the Big 3 final, the Boston Ball Hogs 51, the Dallas Power 49. For the first time in their franchise history, the Boston Ball Hogs are the Big Three champions. They win the title. Gary Payton once again getting a championship. Jeremy Pargo was the high man in the final, 21 points. Of course, the two big 4-point shots proved to be the difference. Garland Green with 18 points, and Deshaun Stevens had 12 points in the win. Elijah Stewart had 19 points. Greg Monroe had 14 points. And Glenn Rice Jr. had 11 points in a losing effort. Heartbreaker for Nancy Lieberman and the Dallas Power. They had the title in their grasp, but Gary Payton and the Boston Ball Hogs were not to be denied. Anthony Florio, we talked about this privately. Dude, we had an amazing final last year. I think this was even better. And the year before that, the last few finals have been amazing. But I gotta say, this one may be the best. This might be the best final yet because of how Boston won this championship. I think this is the greatest. This was the greatest ending to a final because we've never had a 4-point shot determine the title, and Jeremy Pargo did that here today. Unbelievable ending.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now. This afternoon, now you know how Michael Bullock and I, how we do our Raw and or SmackDown chats, from time to time. Well, this afternoon, myself and our dear friend Brian Keenan, you could say this was our big 3 chat. We watched this game together. And I got to tell you right now, Brian Keenan is over the moon right now. I mean, he wanted the Boston Ball Hogs to win this championship more than you could ever know. I mean, we all know how much of a big Boston sports fan he is with all the Boston teams. But now with this, I mean, he is absolutely over the moon right now. And I'm very happy for him. And the last 2 years, the Big 3 championship has been won by teams of ours. I mean, 1 year ago, I had the big moment with the Miami 305, formerly Three's Company, when they won the championship a year ago, how excited I was. And 1 year later, our dear friend Brian Keenan gets to celebrate as his team, the Boston Ball Hogs, wins the Big 3 championship. He even went on the record and said that he called it. He called this. He thought he had a feeling that Boston was going to win this. And sure enough, they did. And Jeremy Pargo becomes the 4th player in the history of the Big 3 to win the MVP award and the Big 3 championship in the same season. It's happened 2 years in a row now because last year, my guy, Michael Beasley, was the MVP and he went on to win the championship with the Miami 305. So, but the last 3 years, these Big 3 championship games have been very close and have gone down to the wire. I mean, we'll never forget it with Bivouac and Three's Company at the TD Garden in Boston 2 years ago. Awesome game there. And then last year with Miami and Chicago, winning when it was Mario Chalmers like he did in the 08 national championship with Kansas against Memphis. And then here today, Jeremy Pargo with a 4-pointer to win the Big 3 championship. That is legendary. He is him. He's him. And that was a him moment. And Gary Payton has now won 2 titles in the last 3 years because he was the coach of Bivouac. He coached Bivouac to the Big 3 championship in 2024. And now, 2 years later, he does it again with the Boston Ball Hogs. And that is awesome. And I'm very happy with the outcome. I mean, I would have been happy if Dallas had won, sure. I mean, Nancy Lieberman took him to the promised land back in 2018. Earlier today, I relived all of the Big 3 championship winning moments that MF, you've had the honor of calling all of them. And but I know this had to be maybe. I got to be honest. I mean, all your calls were great, but this was hands down the best one you ever did. You know, we always go. I've always gone on the record to call of referring to you as screaming Michael Fletcher. Well, we got one hell of a screaming Michael Fletcher moment today, and that call
Oh,
was epic as usual. And you and Silvera, you guys killed it. And another great Big Three season. I feel like it just started and now it's over already. That's
yeah. 10
but
weeks. 10
yeah,
weeks.
10 weeks.
It's fast. It's fast.
We'll have to hope you all enjoyed it because you're gonna have to wait until next summer to do it all over again. Next June, we start it all over again. And Boston, congratulations! A special congratulations to our dear friend Brian Keenan. I mean, I can't tell you how excited he was when Pargo hit that four to win the title. Oh, he was like a little kid on Christmas morning. Let me tell you that right now. So good for him, man. Good for him. And now he knows how I felt 1 year ago when my 305 did it. So I'll cherish that forever. Brian's gonna cherish this forever. To steal a quote from Jerry the King Lawler, he's the smile on his face. You're gonna have to have. It's gonna need to be surgically removed. That's the only way. So
Yeah.
yeah, he is. I guarantee you, the next time we see him, you know he's going to be celebrating, and he's even gone on the record saying that he's hopeful of getting some of that championship swag, some of that championship merch. So,
Yeah. You gotta go to Big Three. I think it's big3basketball.com or big3.com. Let me see. I think it's
or I think it's like Big Three Shop or something. But
yeah.
yeah, but the Big Three easily one of the big highlights of the summer. I mean, summer I know is a
Oh,
boring time. What?
store.big3.com.
Oh, store.big3.com. So, Brian, if
Yeah.
you're watching it, store.big3.com, where you can get your Boston Ball Hog Championship gear. So,
Yes.
wow. And the summertime tradition lived up to the hype once again. And this is why the summer of I mean, this is why this has become a summertime staple since its inception back in 2017. And it just gets better and better and better every single year. And congratulations to all the players who put their hearts into it. And two quick shout outs before we get into our preview of lockdown. First shout out to Ice Cube. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a rap music fan. I'm not into that kind of music at all, to be honest with you. But for Ice Cube to put this league together, to give us something fun to do, during what is very traditionally a boring, and I do mean boring, time in the sports world. I mean, it was a little more exciting because we had the World Cup this time around, but putting this league together to give all of these players who either played in the NBA or never got a chance to play in the NBA, you know, to for them to to do this, and him and his partner who put this whole thing together. A round of applause for him, Ice Cube. Thank you for putting this all together and giving us something fun to do during a very boring time of the year. Well, not just a very boring time, the most boring time of the year. Let's not kid ourselves. And the other shout out is to you, MF. I mean, since you first saw this, I mean, you always went on and on about how great the Big Three was. I wasn't really into it at first, but the last few years or so, I have started to get into it, and I'm getting more and more into it. Brian and I, we watched a few games together during this season, and this is definitely going to be a summertime tradition. We're going to have Big Three chats and watch the games on the mothership on CBS, and yeah, so we appreciate you to introducing this to us and keep going on about how great this league is. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a chance. And boy, am I glad I did. My only regret is that I didn't get into it as soon as you did. I mean, you even went to Providence. You even came here to Providence, and you got to go to that. And
Yeah.
How I wish I could have been there with you to check it out. But I know they'll probably never come back here because they're in the big cities now, but that's cool. But
I think they're gonna come once a year to Boston
yeah.
because now that because the Big Three does have a team in Boston, so I wouldn't be surprised if at least once or twice a year they'll come to Boston. I think they might come first week next year because of the fact that they are now that they are the Big Three champions. I would think the first game would be held in Boston at TD Garden. You would think the first week would be at TD Garden.
Very well could be. And
yeah,
they were just there a couple of weeks ago for my birthday. And go figure, Boston didn't Boston got embarrassed by the worst team in the league, mind you, the Detroit Amps.
Yeah.
The Detroit Amps went in there and they smacked
them
around.
Them down. Yeah, they beat them down.
And I was like, and this is a championship team? Ha. 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, we're not a championship team? Hold our beer. And here they are. They showed us. And that's awesome. So congratulations to Boston, Gary Payton, Jeremy Pargo, Deshaun Stevens, the rest of the team. Hell of a job. You guys damn sure deserve it. And, hey, Nancy Lieberman, Dallas, you guys have nothing to be ashamed of. But you got to feel for Greg Monroe, man. I mean, Greg Monroe, as the kids say nowadays, he had one job. One job. All he had to do was hit one little itty bitty free throw. And he missed it. He hits that free throw. We're talking about them being the Big Three champions for the second time.
For the second time in their franchise history, yeah, they would have been the champion. They would have been the champions.
But hey, credit to Boston though, but like I said, man, your heart goes out for Greg Monroe. I'm thinking about him tonight. I know that's gonna eat at him for quite some time. I got to be honest. It's gonna eat at him. I know it. So, because they had the title, they had it in it. They had the title in their grasp.
Yeah.
One little itty bitty free throw, you got it. He misses it. It opens the door for Boston. Pargo hits that insane 4. Brian Keenan kept saying to me, how did he do that? How did he hit that 4? Well, it's going to be one of the great mysteries of life now, isn't it? I don't know how he did that, but he's the MVP. He was the MVP for a reason. So, wow. Can't wait to get into it again next season. It's going to be great. And, man, awesome job. So another Big Three season in the books. It's sad that don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. That's all I'm going to say right now. And Brian is smiling. Boston is smiling. They get to add another championship to their rich history. You could call this an unofficial 19th basketball championship to go with the 18 of the Celtics. So
yeah, you can.
Wow. So that's the bad news. But the good news is the lull period, the boring period is almost over, my friends. It's almost over.
Yep.
And we'll get into that in the future content. So not much more. We could go on and on about the Big Three, but we got one piece of business left. MF, TNA, bringing back one of their staple pay-per-views for the first time in 10 years. Should have happened a long time ago, but I'm glad we're getting it back tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's locked down. Every match will be thrown in the confines of a 15-foot high steel tempered cage. Mm-hmm. Like I said, every match. So let's just run it down for you guys. We start out with the entire fight card. Here it is. It's gonna be all over the place. So it's not just gonna be one. I'm not gonna just try to give you it on a layout. It's just so here we go. We started out first. We're just gonna get the non-title matches out of the way, and then we'll get into the title fights and the big fights later. So we got BDE and Rich Swann versus the Righteous. That's in a steel cage. We got Special Agent Zero and Trey Miguel versus Trey Miguel. That's in a steel cage. These are the pre-show fights before the pay-per-view, so that's why I'm getting those out of the way first. Then AJ Francis versus Elijah one-on-one inside the cage. Then we also have a big one, an escape the cage match where it will be Frankie Kazarian versus Moose one-on-one. Every other match I'm about to talk about are all for the belts. First, the TNA World Tag Team titles on the line. The Hardys versus the Nemeths. That will be a one-on-one. Then the Women's Knockouts Tag Team titles on the line. The Elegance brand goes up against Allie and a mystery partner. Rosemary will not be available for the match. I think it's because of injury. So we got to find a partner for her. That will go down tomorrow. Then the international title will be on the line. Jason Hodge versus Mustafa Ali. That will be one. That's also one-on-one. The X Division title will be on the line. Cedric Alexander versus Leon Slater. That will be a big fight. Then the women's knockouts will be on the line. Elena Black goes up against Zaya Brookside. And then obviously, in my opinion, what should be the main event, Lethal Lockdown. The System goes up against Ricky Sosa, Fabian Eichner, Casey Navarro, and Jada Stone. Obviously, the System has the one-person advantage. They will have the power play for that match, and that will be Lockdown, held from the Credit Union One Arena in Chicago, Illinois. That will be exclusively on the TNA Plus. Yes. And on traditional pay-per-view, yes.
Yes, and I want to mention something about that. TNA Plus just recently rolled out a monthly tier for their VIP package. It's only $20 a month. If you do the $20 a month thing, not only do you get all the perks of the app, but you do not have to pay extra for the pay-per-views. The pay-per-views are included. How cool is that?
That is huge. That is massive. Because remember they used to do, and it's awesome because it used to be $9.99 a month. But if you wanted it to get the pay-per-views, the big pay-per-views, you had to pay, I think it was like an extra $40 just for the pay-per-views alone. So correct. they upcharge. Now it's like $19.99. Okay, fine. But now with the $19.99 price tag, it covers everything. Yep. Impact, explosions, and now all pay-per-view events. Yep. You can't go wrong with this, folks. It's a perfect deal. It's perfect. So, yeah.
All you got to do, $20 a month, and you no longer have to buy the pay-per-view separately. You get them with it. So, and I just took the plunge. I just took the plunge recently, so I'm locked in.
I don't blame
for
you.
Lockdown.
I don't blame you. Yeah,
I'm locked in for Lockdown.
That's gonna be huge. And then on Tuesday night, on Ridiculously Raw, Anthony Florio
pre-show at 5. By the way, just to let you fine folks know, the lockdown pre. Now let's hit them with the future content.
Actually, can you repeat that one more time? Because you kind of cut it out there, Anthony. Can you repeat that one more time for the fans?
Oh, I'm sorry. First off, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. What I was trying to say was the pre-show for Lockdown is at 5, and the main show starts at 6. It's not the typical 7 and 8. You would think it was 7 and 8. No. Pre-show at 5, main show at 6. TNA Plus app or traditional pay-per-view, however you want to do it.
All right. So now with the future content, it will be on Tuesday night. Is Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio, per the usual. We'll go 10:30, and it will be Monday Night Raw and NXT. Thursday night at 10:30, we are back. TXN Sports World back in the saddle, and this is big because it is the college football and NFL previews. We are going to college. We are going to
season finale, baby.
Season finale. We will start with the college, the big conferences, the big five, as they would like to call it. We will cover those conferences, and obviously the lone independent, or the most recognizable independent, Notre Dame. And then we'll get into the division by divisions of the National Football League, who we think is going to be on top, who we think is going to be really good. So we'll cover that. And then 1 week on Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk, we will cover TNA Smackdown. And I believe this is the week that we preview the Sunday night's main event, I believe, as well.
No.
Is it?
We actually have the NXT Heat Wave next weekend.
Oh, that's right, NXT Heat Wave. So we'll preview that. So we got that for you guys, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. So that's it. We're out of here. So for Anthony Florio, I am Michael Fletcher. We'll see you all on Tuesday night. Like the video, leave a comment, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. And until then, have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you all on Tuesday. So long for now.
Goodbye.